Introduction. Overview of the courage to be disliked. The courage to be disliked is a philosophical dialogue between a philosopher and a young man who is frustrated with life and seeks answers. The philosopher introduces the ideas of Alfred Adler, a founder of individual psychology, which is grounded in the belief that people are not shaped by past traumas but by their present perceptions and choices. The book is built around 5 key conversations where the young man challenges the philosopher's views, and the philosopher dismantles common beliefs about happiness, interpersonal relationships, and self-worth. The main idea in the book is that our happiness and life satisfaction depend on our willingness to be disliked by others. In other words, the courage to be true to oneself without seeking validation or approval from others is the key to personal freedom and fulfillment. Chapter 1. Deny Trauma. The past does not determine your future. In the opening chapter, the young man expresses a belief that his current unhappiness is due to past events, such as childhood experiences and past failures. He feels trapped, believing that the trauma he experienced has shaped his personality and limited his opportunities in life. The philosopher challenges this belief by introducing the core of Adlerian psychology, that people are not controlled by their past, but by the meaning they assign to past events. The philosopher argues that trauma is not the root cause of unhappiness, it's the individual's choice in interpreting those events. Key concepts. 1. Trauma is not deterministic. Adlerian psychology refutes the idea that past trauma irreversibly determines our present or future. Instead, people use trauma as an excuse for inaction. 2. Teleology over causality. Instead of focusing on causes, like past traumas, Adler's teleology emphasizes purpose, how we use our past to justify behaviors or avoid responsibility in the present. Important quotes. 1. People fabricate anger. They do so because they want to get their way. 2. People are not controlled by their pasts, but by the meaning they give to those pasts. Key lessons. The power of choice. Regardless of past experiences, you have the freedom to choose how you interpret and react to life. You can choose to free yourself from the influence of your past. Trauma as a narrative. We often create narratives around trauma to avoid taking responsibility for our current situation. Adler teaches that trauma does not dictate our present. It is our decision to either let it go or let it control us. Chapter 2. All problems are interpersonal relationship problems. The philosopher goes on to explain Adler's theory that all human problems arise from interpersonal relationships. The young man is initially confused, as he believes some problems, like anxiety, self-doubt, and a lack of self-esteem, are internal rather than relational. The philosopher asserts that these issues stem from comparing oneself to others, seeking validation, and trying to live up to societal expectations. By shifting focus from self-criticism to understanding interpersonal dynamics, one can address the root of their problems. Key concepts. 1. Interpersonal relationship dynamics. Every issue, whether internal, like feelings of inferiority, or external, like conflict, is rooted in how we perceive and engage with others. 2. Life tasks. Adler breaks down life into 3 major tasks: the task of work, the task of friendship, and the task of love. Each of these tasks involves relationships, and our success in life depends on how well we manage these relationships. Important quotes. 1. The cause of your unhappiness cannot be found in your environment. It is not your past that is to blame. You are unhappy because you have decided to be unhappy. 2. To live means to interact with other people. That is the only way we can be human. Key lessons. Social relationships shape our identity. Feelings of inferiority or superiority come from how we compare ourselves to others. The key to overcoming these feelings is to focus on cooperation, not competition. Life's meaning comes from relationships. The quality of our lives is determined by how well we navigate relationships in work, friendship, and love. Chapter 3. Discard other people's tasks. Don't live to satisfy others. The philosopher introduces the concept of the separation of tasks. Adler believed that many of our problems stem from trying to manage tasks that don't belong to us, namely, other people's expectations, judgments, and reactions. The philosopher teaches that each person must recognize which tasks are theirs and which belong to others. He explains that anxiety often arises from meddling in tasks that belong to others, such as worrying about how we are perceived or trying to control other people's feelings. Key concepts. 1. Separation of tasks. Everyone has their own tasks in life. You are only responsible for your own tasks, and you should not try to control the tasks of others. For example, how others view you is not your task, it's theirs. 2. Live for yourself, not for others. True freedom comes from living your life based on your values and decisions, not on the expectations of others. Important quotes. 1. What other people think of you is their task, not yours. 2. The courage to be happy also includes the courage to be disliked. Key lessons. Focus on your own tasks. You are responsible for your own happiness, actions, and decisions. Worrying about how others perceive you or trying to please everyone will only lead to frustration. Develop the courage to be disliked. To live authentically and fully, you must accept that not everyone will like or approve of your choices, and that's okay. The courage to be disliked is the foundation of personal freedom. Chapter 4. The pursuit of happiness is the pursuit of contribution. The philosopher explains that happiness is not something to be pursued for its own sake, but rather it is a byproduct of living a life of contribution. In Adlerian psychology, happiness comes from feeling that one is useful to others and is making a meaningful contribution to society. The young man initially struggles with this idea, as he believes happiness is tied to personal success, recognition, and achievements. However, the philosopher clarifies that true fulfillment is achieved not through individual accomplishments but through community and cooperation. Key concepts. 1. Contribution to society. Adler believed that a person's sense of worth and happiness is directly tied to their contributions to the community or society. Personal growth occurs when one seeks to contribute, not compete. 2. Gemeinschaftsgefühl, community feeling. A central Adlerian concept. Community feeling refers to the sense of belonging and contributing to something greater than oneself. Important quotes. 1. The only way to obtain true happiness is through a feeling of contribution. 2. Happiness is the feeling of contribution. If you are contributing to someone or to society, you will feel happiness. Key lessons. Happiness comes from contribution. Lasting happiness is found not in selfish pursuits or personal success, but in contributing to the well-being of others. Cooperate rather than compete. Instead of viewing life as a competition, embrace a mindset of cooperation. Contributing to others' happiness leads to personal fulfillment. Chapter 5. Live in the here and now. In the final chapter, the philosopher teaches that much of our unhappiness stems from living in the past or worrying about the future. He urges the young man to live fully in the present, focusing on the current moment without being burdened by past regrets or future anxieties. Adlerian psychology asserts that we can change our life at any moment, but to do so, we must focus on the here and now, not on hypothetical scenarios or past mistakes. Key concepts. 1. Living in the present moment. The philosopher explains that life can only be lived in the present. Regrets about the past and anxieties about the future are distractions that prevent people from living fully. 2. Courage to act now. Change requires action in the present. Waiting for the right time or letting fear of failure paralyze you prevents growth. Important quotes. 1. Freedom is the courage to live in the present. 2. No one can live another moment of your life for you. You must be the one to live it. Key lessons. Focus on the present. You can only control what you do in the present moment. Don't let past mistakes or future worries hold you back from taking action today. Take ownership of the present. Instead of waiting for the perfect circumstances, start living fully now. The present is where change happens. Conclusion: the courage to be happy. The philosopher concludes by emphasizing the central message of the book. Happiness is a choice, and it requires the courage to be true to oneself, even if that means being disliked by others. The young man realizes that living authentically, contributing to society, and not relying on external validation are the keys to a fulfilled and meaningful life. He understands that happiness comes from within and is not dependent on others' approval. Key concepts. 1. Happiness is a choice. Happiness is something you create for yourself by making conscious decisions in the present. It's not something that happens to you by chance. 2. The courage to be disliked. Living authentically means accepting that not everyone will like or agree with your choices, and that's part of the freedom to live according to your own values. Important quotes. 1. The courage to be happy also includes the courage to be disliked. 2. You are the one who decides what your life will be. Key lessons. Happiness is self-determined. You are in control of your happiness, and it's not something to be sought through external validation. Courage to be authentic. Living a happy life requires being true to yourself and embracing the fact that not everyone will approve of your choices. Key takeaways from the courage to be disliked. 1. You are not a product of your past. Past traumas or failures do not define who you are or what you can become. You can choose to change your life at any moment by focusing on your present actions and attitudes. 2. All problems are interpersonal problems. Human issues, whether internal or external, stem from how we relate to others. By improving your relationships and viewing others with cooperation rather than competition, many problems can be resolved. 3. Focus on your own tasks. Don't waste energy trying to control others' thoughts, feelings, or actions. Focus on your own responsibilities and life choices. 4. Happiness comes from contribution. Real fulfillment is found in helping others and contributing to society. Personal achievements alone will not bring lasting happiness. 5. Live in the present. Don't dwell on the past or worry about the future. Your happiness and growth depend on your ability to live fully in the present moment. 6. The courage to be disliked. The key to living authentically is to accept that not everyone will like you or approve of your choices. True freedom comes from embracing this reality and living for yourself. The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumite Koga is a profound exploration of personal freedom and happiness through the lens of Adlerian psychology. It teaches readers to live authentically, contribute to society, and let go of the need for approval, allowing them to find true happiness and fulfillment in the present.